You're listening to Spanish Podcast. I'm Molly.
And I'm Toni.
Today we're playing Would You Rather Spain edition. Why are we doing this? Because we live in Spain. And before we get started, remember to subscribe, comment, share.
Like what can be liked. The Instagrams on the YouTubes. I don't even know if there's an option of liking on Spotify. Try. If not, just drop a comment. Everything's
You can rate on Spotify.
Can you? Okay, rate it beyond the sky.
5 stars.
6.
So let's just start. We're going to do some hypothetical questions or would you rather questions. So Toni, would you rather meet Rosalia or Rafael Nadal?
I would meet Rosalia because I know next to nothing about Nadal. I am just not that interested in sports. Yes, in general,
Yeah.
like whatever sport. Like, I'm sorry, you're amazing athletes, performers, but I just don't care. I'm sorry. Like, I like high achievers, but the sport itself couldn't care less. Whereas Rosalia, she's both a high achiever and an artist, and she's producing like her body of work. Not gonna say that I like everything, but similar to you, I've taken a liking to a lot of her new songs. It's something that I carry throughout my day, the same as someone who's interested in sport will carry a football match or a tennis match.
Right.
They will go to
Any sport.
X Open. Yeah. So definitely Rosalia. How about you? Rosalia or Nadal?
Rosalia. Definitely. I've watched so many of her interviews lately, and I think she's just an amazing person. I feel like she's a very authentic, famous person, and I think that's rare. And I don't really care for sports.
Oh, so we're in the same boat. But do you watch the interviews in English or Spanish? Is it from the Spanish media space, the international US?
Mostly in English, but it's also true that you can tell she's much more comfortable in Spanish, so it's more enjoyable to watch her speaking Spanish. But in her interviews in English, she's always like throwing out phrases in Spanish, and I think it's so funny because I don't know. I mean, you know that the other person has no idea what she's saying typically, and she'll just like start speaking in Spanish, and then they're like, ah.
Yeah, it is very cute. I guess in post they will pick up on something, but it's something that I've both been surprised by and taking a liking to. I do recommend that you watch her Apple Music interview that she did
Ooh,
before the release of this latest album. It's a really fun, kind of weird but cool in-depth interview.
Yeah, and they're in like a bull ring, right?
I don't remember. It's been such a long time since I've seen it.
It's a beautiful setting. Okay, Rosalia or Julio Iglesias?
Well, did I already meet Rosalia?
New fame or old fame?
He's a memeable character, but I wouldn't know. That is kind of a hard one.
Or his son, Enrique?
Oh. Is Enrique his son? I thought they just shared
I think so.
the last name. You
No,
think
I
so?
think it's his son. I'm pretty positive. We don't need to. I'm 90% sure it's his son.
For the sake of integration, I would say Julio, because I can always catch up on Rosalia later. Like, maybe via Julio, I would get a new acquaintance and then just like rub shoulders with the Rosalia at an event or something. No, definitely Julio. Like, I'm sorry, Rosalia, you're amazing. I would love to meet you, but like Julio is kind of old, so maybe he doesn't have that much time left. And I want to meet the meme. He's a meme. Every July, every Julio, there's memes before, during, and after.
I would still say Rosalia. I just don't know what I would talk about with Julio.
Well, is this like a sit down? Are you spending the day together? Is it like a getaway weekend?
Right. We didn't specify like having dinner or just saying hi, because I guess that would be different.
Well, that as well. I clearly visualize now meeting Julio at an event, meeting Rosalia at an event. If I was to spend a weekend, Julio. If I'm bumping into something, Rosalia, because there I could just dive into it. But Mr. Iglesias, Senor Iglesias, you need to peel him like an onion.
You want to pick his brain. Okay, that's fair. Okay, you choose the next one.
Controversial one. Would you rather go to a bullfight or a football match?
Oof. I feel like if you say you want to go to a bullfight, especially as a foreigner, that's just not cool. Yeah, I would say a bullfight because it's something that you can't do in other countries where you just don't see. I would say bullfight, as controversial as that is. What about you? Bullfight or football match?
Even though football matches are so damn boring, I think I would choose that over a bullfight because
Really?
yeah, there's a lot of aspects to bullfight that I would really love to learn more about, but I couldn't bear like the whole process of
Killing a
people.
bull?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
couldn't. So with that said, I have a bigger understanding of me not understanding the complex culture that's tied up to it. I only know it on a superficial level, and not even that because I haven't been there. I'm just seeing videos. Like it's a long history connected to it, and of course, someone's probably gonna shoot me for saying this, but you could say that about football as well. Like it's a long history, and depending on where in the world it's played, by who, what's the lead up, there's so much history around it. Going back to bullfight, like who is the matador? What's the history of his family? Is he like the fifth generation, proud small king of the local Andalusian town? Like again, there's so many things connected to it, and I would love
Mhm.
to learn more about the culture around, but rather going to bullfight or football match, football match.
So you'd rather like read about it in a book or go to a museum rather than actually living it as an experience?
Yeah, it's kind of like slavery. I don't want to see them get killed, but I don't mind reading about it.
Does that make me a bad person for saying bullfight? I just like football does not interest me, and even though it's a very cruel sport, bullfighting,
Mm.
it's a part of the history, and it's amazing that Spain holds on to these traditions for so long. It's I think it's worth at least learning about, like you said, for sure.
Identity is complex and it can't be understood in a day, not in a year, maybe not even in a lifetime without being a part of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one before I put myself in a bigger hole. If you were given $1 million to start a business, or well, $1 million, €1 million to start a business in Spain, what would it be?
A local business in Spain,
No, any business. It can be whatever you want.
but in Spain.
Right.
I think I would go into agriculture, not being the agriculture dude himself, but either going as an investor or building it from the ground up, buying either an existing farm or, lots to make it happen. I don't live that far from Murcia. I know there's a lot of money flowing around in regards to it. And there's a lot of nice cars driving around. So, like, there's got to be some money. And I think it's more sustainable than tourism.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that gives back to the people. I guess tourism does too.
It does, but it's a lot more vulnerable. Obviously, depending on what producing and harvesting, that does follow trends. Having people eating oranges during Easter and mandarins during winter in Norway specifically, that didn't exist 100 years ago. But now it's
Mhm.
tied up to a traditional culture, and that was man made the same way that tourism has been man made. With that said, I do think looking at COVID, tourism is a lot more vulnerable than shipping oranges around the world. How about you?
I would probably build a lot of apartments because there is a housing crisis in Spain and in everywhere, but it's bad here. So, and it's because of a lack of, well, it's a lot of things, but there's also a lack of apartments available to people. So I think that's something that would be beneficial to the economy.
That is true, but that theme almost annoys me a bit. Not only here in Spain, but in Norway. Yeah, because go ask someone who had their first home when they were super young, but 60 years ago or 70 years ago. How did that building come to be? Did they just take up a mortgage and they said to a construction worker, build me a house? And then they had leftover money to buy two cars and whatever. No. Depending on where you are in the world, there was a gazillion favors you had to pull from neighbors, from family. you yourself were probably a lot more handy. You can contribute to building the house. And how did you live before that? You probably lived at your parents' house. How many generations lived in that house? Two,
Until you
three, maybe
died.
even four,
Yeah.
until you died. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm not taking away the seriousness of the housing crisis, but I think it's really important to see how things were done at least 5 decades ago, because history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme with itself.
So you don't like the idea of building more apartments? Would you build more houses?
No, 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 no. Like, I obviously, whatever kind of real estate, and having apartment blocks is a lot more efficient and sustainable, especially given the lack of handiness and resources now compared to, as I said, like 50, 60 years ago. Like, I'm kind of just doing this with my finger in the air right now, but that is my general observation looking back. Like, ask anyone's grandparents, how did their house, apartment, like whatever construction, come to be? And then you pair that up with questions on what were their living expenses, how much did they use on food, often did they go on vacation, how often did they buy clothes, what kind of clothes, did they make some of it, did side exist? Like, it's more complex than that.
So you think we should start taking or doing the same things we used to do 5 generations ago?
I'm saying we're being forced to it. We, as
Ah.
in the people in the bottom of this pyramid, per se. You need to go back to basic. What do? You find a lot. You find the cheapest one. Where? Not in a city, that's for sure. Maybe that's why I kind of lean into the agriculture answer previously, because this has been kind of like grinding my gear, that we're looking for answers where there's no answers to be found, or solutions. You want to have a nice apartment? Well, you need a shit ton of money. Where are you going to get that from? Not from a job, that's for sure. Or unless you have a really high paying job, you need to like create a business on the side.
The issue is that everyone wants to live in the cities because that's where there are things. I wouldn't want to live in a small town where there's nothing, like just a grocery store, and cuz I grew up like that, and I'm not choosing that. I know otherwise, and I know that I like to have museums to go to, or
And I'm the same. Look at me. I don't even live in a big city. I live in an Alicante, but I still see it as such a luxury just to have a few options compared to my
yeah.
small town, which doesn't even have a store of any kind anymore. There's just nothing there. And let's compare that. Oh shit! I know this is a digression, but I just had to
No,
mention
it's
it.
related.
In
Yeah.
my local town in Norway, if you move there, if you register and say, "Hey, I'm gonna live here and work either in this town or somewhere close," town hall will give you a lot, and they will give you money as well.
But not unlimited, right? Like a fixed amount
You know, a fixed amount.
to
Yeah,
yeah.
let's say they give you a lot. Obviously, the lot is connected to a road somehow, or they will make it happen. Maybe 10,000 euros. I'm pulling numbers out of the air, but that's like,
Just something to get you started.
yeah, them just saying, please come live here, like pump some life into the local environment, and your tax money is welcome here as well.
And is that successful, or do you know?
It's not successful. Like, it's not this big campaign they're running with the goal of having 1,000 new people move there every year. It's just one incentive that just stays there. And if someone
Mm.
shows up, it's like, hey, come here, choose us instead of the neighboring town.
Spain does that too with having kids, having babies. Like they have incentivized it highly because people are not having kids anymore.
In what form?
Like you don't have to pay taxes for the first 6 months, I think, of the baby being born. Like you get your paycheck fully. They don't take any taxes out. And maternity, I mean, obviously you get paid maternity leave if you're not an autonomo. And there's something, and I think they also give you a stipend.
What's a stipend?
A stipend is like a small amount of money per month to just for having a baby.
They have incentives in Norway as well when you have a kid. I'm not sure quite what it is, but it is a monthly payout, like a small payout to help you pay
Mhm.
for kindergarten, extra food, etc. Taxes, I know in general, if you have, let's say, a couple of kids and you're married, like that changes.
You get like a break, right? But it's not like in the moment. Like it's not like the first 6 months of the baby's life you get
I don't think so.
a tax break.
No.
I mean, in the US, it's unheard of. They do nothing but take money from you. Like you get punished essentially for having kids.
Yeah.
There's no incentives at all. At least that I mean, I've never had a kid there, so I guess I can't speak to it, but I know you don't get money. You don't get paid to not be working. So I can imagine that the government doesn't give you anything, any kind of assistance.
The leave that you get in Norway when you have a kid, it's in world class. The first, depending on how you organize it, the mom can have a full salary for, I think it's 10 months, no working, just like taking care of the kid. If you lower the amount, it can be like stretched out to a year. And then there's also the option of the dad doing it instead. Let's say the dad doesn't have a job he loves and the mom has the best job in the world and makes a buck. So she could stay out like a few months and then the dad just does the rest.
That's crazy. Okay, next one.
Next one.
So we're
Yes.
all about saving Spain as a country.
Yes, we love Spain. If there's any conclusion on my end, it's I want to live in a city, but I'm realizing more and more I probably need to start a farm in the future.
Right. We didn't choose our passions, unfortunately.
Yeah.